All right, my goodness, there's another week gone by already. I guess it must have, because I'm here and I didn't spend the night. Well, we got kind of a different theme today. For several years, Miss Ernestine and I traveled literally from coast to coast at running and triathlon expos as vendors, selling stuff. All kinds of stuff they didn't realize they needed till they saw us. So I thought I would do a show today about some of the places we visited. Now, of course, we visited a lot of places, and there are not enough tunes to go around. So I figured we'd start with Indiana. Now, we didn't do a lot. Indiana is just a skinny little state, but you go back and forth between it, going to different places. It's sort of like a space holder between Illinois and Ohio. So that song was Back Home Again in Indiana, 1917. Now, it seems every Memorial Day weekend, there's some little event in Indianapolis where about 36 guys jump in their cars and drive around on the circle at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. I wonder if they ever wonder why they keep getting back to the same. Oh, they have a pace car. I guess the pace car is to show them where they're going so they don't get, it's all left turns, guys. You're going to get back around something like 200 times. Oh, my goodness. But they do it. And, of course, you've heard me mention Corey Pesaturos many times on this show. One of the world records that Corey has, because Corey's a big race car fan, is Mario Andretti drove an Indy car, and Corey sat in the back in what little space they have playing the accordion. So he has the Guinness Book record of the fastest venue to play an accordion in. So like 200 miles an hour. Here's Mario Andretti, driving 200 miles an hour with this fool sitting in the back playing. But anyway, and that's my Indiana story. Now, there's a very pretty state here in New England. Well, most of them are, but this one especially, called Vermont. And we used to do several expos up in Vermont, and it was just a pleasant time. And so there is a song about Vermont called Moonlight in Vermont. It was written in 1944. Now, Vermont, this song is very unusual because, first of all, none of the words rhyme. And they noticed that, but they said, the heck, well, let's just leave it. Now, songs, generally, 99% are what we call 32 bars or measures. 8, 8, 8, and 8. The first two eights are the same, the last eight's the same, the middle eight there is what we call the bridge. However, it seems that the first and last eights are only 6. They only had 6 measures. And nobody realizes that. Even I never realized it myself playing it all the years. So I recorded one of my first albums, and of course we always put the drum track down and then play to the drum track. So he says, okay, Dave, go ahead. And so I'm playing, and he says, wait. Paul Fish, who was the fellow that recorded everything. He says, you're doing it wrong. I said, no, I'm not. He said, do it again. So I did it again. Nah, that's not right. Well, come to find out, he had put down 8-bar drum tracks. I was only playing the 6th of the song. So, and that's I'll play the music now. Here we go. Moonlight in Vermont. All right, now don't go calling the studio and everything. I didn't cheat you out of any measures. That's the way the song's written. And like I said, I didn't realize it myself for many years, and most people don't realize this, even the musicians. They just play it. But and the middle part of that song, what we call the bridge, that's different, that is the exact opposite in chords to the bridge of Misty. So I was jamming with a sax player a few years ago, and we're playing the song. So guess what knucklehead goes into the bridge for Misty instead of the bridge for Moonlight and Vermont? So it was backwards, so that was, oh, don't get me started. Okay, next song, 1940. Fellow named Hoagy Carmichael. Remember, no, actually it was 1930, I think. 30 or 40. But Hoagy Carmichael, he was like an old song and dance man. So him writing this tune just doesn't make sense, but he did. The tune is called Georgia. Georgia on my mind. We spent quite a bit of time in Georgia. Very, very nice state. Except don't try to drive in Atlanta. Atlanta, D.C., and Philly. 3 worst cities in the country to drive in. But anyway. So the song is called Georgia on My Mind. Hoagy Carmichael wrote it. 1960. Fella named Ray Charles. Ray Charles had a big hit on it. So, Little Georgia, here we go. Georgia on my mind. Nice state, nice state. Well, you know, there's a city in the middle, almost geographical middle of the United States, and it's got 2 sides to it, because it's on the opposite sides of a river. Kansas City. There's Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. I think we were in Kansas City, Kansas. I'm not sure. You get confused. And nice little city, and has 2 or 3 very interesting things. It has a Union Station, but of course a lot of the big cities in the Midwest had Union Station, and they've turned these things into hotels and things. And they had a place called the Arabia. What is the Arabia, Coach Dave? Well, it is a ship. It is a paddle wheel ship that used to go up and down on the Missouri River. Unfortunately, back around the 1850s, it sank. They had no idea where it was. A farmer finally found it when he was digging in his field, because obviously in 100 years or so or more, the river shifted and, took a little bit of the bank and added it on the other side, that type of thing. So here's this ship in the middle of this farmer's field. So a couple of enterprising fellows dug it up and made a museum, and even the cargo on the ship, because it had been underground so long, was still preserved. And we went into the museum on this particular day, and it just happened on this day that the 2 fellows that dug it all up were there. So we really got a good look. So, little tune called Kansas City, written in 1952, a fellow named Wilbert Harrison, the big hit in 1959. Kansas City. Well, just a little south of Kansas City is another big Midwestern city called St. Louis. St. Louis, what do they call it? The gateway to the west with the big arch there, right? And that big arch, you can actually go up inside the arch. It's like a little, almost like a sled, I guess. We didn't go up in the arch. Coach Dave doesn't like cramped places, so. But under the arch, underground, is a great Western cowboy museum, and we enjoyed that. And there is a church in St. Louis, and it has, the little half-inch or one-inch tiles, I guess. The whole inside of the church has these 1-inch tiles. It was done in the 1800s, and there's thousands and thousands of these tiles in this church. It's really nice. So let's play a little St. Louis blues written by a fellow named W.C. Handy in 1914. So here we go. St. Louis Blues. St. Louis with a big arch. Well, this next tune, there is a state, long state, right in the middle, called Tennessee. Spent a lot of time in Tennessee because there were expos in Knoxville and Memphis, and they're both ends of the state, and this great mountains on the eastern end. It's a nice little state. They wrote a song. They wrote a song about Tennessee in 1946. Then a young lady named Patti Page. Remember Patti Page? Big hit, 1950. However, it's a waltz. Coach Dave doesn't play waltzes, so we're going to play for you now the Tennessee Not a Waltz. Now, it became the state song several years ago. And yes, I have not played it like this in Tennessee, so don't worry. They didn't tar and feather me. So here we go, a little Tennessee Not a Waltz. Tennessee Not a Waltz. I believe I did a show earlier this season on all the waltzes that I play, not as waltzes. So, and that was probably part of it. And I recall a while back, Corey Pesatoro, who I mentioned earlier, 3-time world champion, blah, 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 was over the house one day, and he was messing with my accordion. I happened to mention, he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." Says, "Oh, geez, maybe I caught Corey, right?" So he's mad, and then he played it, not as a waltz, and what can I tell you? What can I tell you? Well, we're getting down towards the end of our time in our last tune. There is a road, a lot of roads. This road goes from Chicago to L.A., and you can stay on this road and not get off all the way. It's just a road, but a fellow named Bobby Troup. Bobby Troup was a jazz piano player, songwriter, TV actor. Remember the old TV show Emergency? He played Dr. Early on Emergency. All that stuff, and he was married to Julie London. I mean, come on. But Bobby Troup took his family in 1946 on a trip on Route 66 and came up with our last tune. Here we go, Route 66. 66. We were on Route 66 in Texas, I believe. And again, it's just a road, but you can make that whole loop. Well, I think we're just about out of time today. As usual, thank you all for watching, listening, tuning in, however it is you get our show. And you know I'm going to say, those young'uns, they've never heard tunes like this, which maybe, I don't know, but bring them on in. And last but not least, I don't think I drove them too crazy today. The big guy behind the glass, Austin Ricketts, who, if I sound good, it's on him. If I don't sound good, well, like I've said before, it's probably the instrument. I don't know what else it could be. So let's take it on home with a little more bluesy Route 66. Here we go.